Talk shoes.
Recorded live.
Hello, this is Kat Miller. It is Tuesday, April 12th, 2011, and I am here talking with Dane Kirby. Dane Kirby, he's our shaman. I love talking with Dane. We always have such wonderful, fun interactions, and things just pop when we're together here. So I want to welcome you, Dane.
Thank you, dear. Always glad to have fun with you.
Yes, it's such a blast doing these podcasts with you. I don't know why it took us so long to get together and start doing these. We could have been doing this for so much longer, but oh well.
The world probably just couldn't have handled so much fun at the time, but now the world can.
There we go. That's the way it is. Last week when we talked, you talked about an energy technique that you wanted to share with us, and I wanted to let everyone know that you have put up the YouTube video on that, and if they want to check last week's, that would have been episode 4. If you look at the information there, I will have that. I don't think I have it on there right now, but I will put the link on there so that if they look at the information, they'll have that. Do you want to describe just very briefly about that energy technique and what it's about and how to do it? Just a real brief thing, and then we can put the link also on the summary of today's podcast.
Sure. Very simply and very easily, it's one of about 1,000 variations of a simple how to be aware of your own energy technique. And this one, I intentionally kept it very simple and very safe for folks. So it's just a case of you learn how to stand there and breathe, bring your hands together without touching, but very close, and just kind of let it like you're holding a ball. And then you find out you feel this ball. Some folks see a ball. Some people actually hear a sound with it. And as you feel this ball, you feel it pulsing back and forth with your own energy going back and forth between your hands. A lot of folks will feel a real nice warmth. Some people, depending on where they're at, feel a real nice coolness. It depends on what your body and you need at that time. And then I show folks just how to stand there with it and enjoy it. You can also do it seated if you'd like. And when you're done, just how to put it back into your heart so that you learn how to hear yourself better and how to be a part of yourself. Listen to your body better because it knows what's going on and what it wants to do. And it tends to put you in the right direction.
Awesome. Well, I thank you very much for that, Dane. I really enjoyed watching that video. You're just cute to watch on camera, so I appreciate all of the videos that you share with us. Drive him crazy. Call him cute all the time, Kat. What is up with that?
And if you want to know about my reference in the video to, how sometimes, Kat will have me on the ropes and sometimes I'll have her on the ropes, you'll just have to listen to the previous podcast, won't you, to see what we do.
Indeed. You talked about listening to your body, listening while you were talking about that. And it's kind of interesting that you came around to that because listen is actually a switchword. And switchwords are one-word affirmations. They represent a condition, response, or experience you'd like to have. And listen, I'm just looking up the exact meaning so I actually read it off to you properly here, means to predict the future or to be in touch with nature and yourself. And so it just kind of really rings to me that the switchword listen may be a very good meditation to use while you're doing that. If you feel like your mind wanders as you're doing this and everything, you may want to actually be repeating to yourself, listen, 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 listen. And listening involves so much more than the ears. Don't you agree?
Definitely. If you want to tie it in with this, tie it in with the action to really get the flow going. So on your inhale, when you inhale, as you're inhaling, just go listen to yourself. And as you exhale, listen to yourself. Tie it in with a physical part of it because your body's physical. And you'll find out that would actually speed up the process you're talking about. Make it even smoother. You'd be surprised how loud your body can get when it's trying to tell you something. Actually, I should say this. Your body's not trying to tell you anything. It's telling you. It's just a case of, are you trying to hear it, or do you really hear it, or do you not want to hear it, is what the issue comes down to be.
You experience the same thing over and over. Consider that you are not listening.
Isn't that the truth?
Why does this experience keep happening to me? What am I missing? What am I not listening to? Why do I keep experiencing this negative thing? What is it that I am bringing focus around to over and over again? Why do I keep doing it? So tell you what, if something keeps coming at you time after time after time, you're not listening.
And I found out the interesting thing with that, when folks don't want to listen, it's amazing how many people are angry about something. And the anger just gets in the way. You can't hear it if you're busy being angry. It's amazing how many frequencies that'll shut down for you. They're still there. They're still doing their best to get your attention. It's just you've put on the earmuffs and you don't want to hear, because if you're angry, it gets in the way. Fear's another good one. Fear gets in the way. And as long as you can get those two out, and that's why I love teaching people simple forms to get rid of the energy, and why I referenced the one about going out in your backyard and just letting Mother Earth have it all, so that you can start hearing what your body is telling you. I mean, watch children, watch babies. They know exactly where they're headed, what they want to do. It's amazing how many studies have been done where they just put all kinds of foods out in front of toddlers, and the toddlers would put together things that you and I would be like, oh, no way. But once you total it up, they're putting together perfectly balanced food combinations for themselves. And it's all because they're listening to their body. Their body is telling them exactly what to do, and they're paying attention to that. Mm-hmm. They haven't been conditioned otherwise yet.
Yeah, conditioning. We're so good at conditioning, aren't we?
Well, how about the classic, clean your plate? I worked hard for that. Your mom worked hard to eat that. You better clean that plate before you get off of this table. And unfortunately, that, after a while, breaks people's I'm full mechanism. And then they grow up as an adult and get out in the world and wonder why they're 50 pounds overweight, why they don't ever seem to be able to just shut down the food. Well, the mechanism got broken in them when they were a kid. And it wasn't that the parents meant anything bad by it. It's just their way of telling the kid to take care of it broke the kid listening to themselves, so that ended up changing it. And I got a lot of people in the office over the years for that, for hypnosis, that they would be, I don't know why I'm always eating, or why I don't seem to want to stop. And many, many times it came back to, well, I was always raised, clean your plate no matter what. You don't know when you'll get something to eat again, that kind of attitude. The attitude of lack. Mm-hmm. And that now you're listening to lack instead of listening to fullness. And see, now we're back to listen again. You want to listen to fullness. You want to listen to happiness. You want to listen to healing and healthy, alive. And we were all born that way. We just tuned it out.
Yep, exactly. We're taught out of so many things that we're born with. When you look out into nature, you see that so many animals have instincts. Mm-hmm. And they don't have their parents teach them out of it. Why is it that humans don't have so many instincts? Perhaps it's because the parents teach them out of it.
Mm-hmm. Sure. And again, most parents don't mean anything bad by it. It's just how they were taught. Or it's an embarrassment. Or it's a social conditioning. That kind of thing. So people come back and say, oh, it's my parents' fault. It's not really anybody's fault. It's just the way it was. Now that you're aware of it, what are you going to do about it? It's up to you now, the person that is dealing with it. Time to deal with it.
Here's another thought.
Mm-hmm.
Disgusting. our initial instinct on disgusting, perhaps it was there to keep us safe. Feces are disgusting. Dirty food feels disgusting. Things, we often feel disgusted around dirt and filth. We feel disgusted looking at certain things. What if disgusting originated as part of our instinct for survival? We are disgusted by dirty things, so we wash them before we eat them. We are disgusted by different things, and so we shy away from them. But what if we have taken disgusting and added so much to it in the sociality of man? Society sees something as disgusting, and we learn to avoid that because our society doesn't agree with it. And I think that you will find around the world, especially you who have been in many places around this world, that different things are disgusting in different societies.
That's it. I mean, personally, I love roasted grasshopper and roasted cricket. Tastes great. I have to admit, the very first one I tried, though, it was like, oh, I'm not sure about this. But the culture I was living in at the time said, hey, this is a delicacy, enjoy. And, you know, it really is good. So, yeah, it just depends on, it's amazing as humans what we can do. The question is, what do we decide to do? And also, what gates have been put up around us that we don't see so that we can open them and walk through them to be the awesome humans that we're capable of so much beauty and life and love. Oh, it's just amazing what we can do to shape our lives for the better and the people around us and people you'll never even meet. You know, met. There we go, meet. People you'll never even meet. It's amazing what you can do to change people's lives. But by the same token, humans can also go the other way, and we can go for the depths of depravity. So just, we got choice, free will. Do something with it. Just because you were taught something doesn't mean you have to stick with that. It's that simple. And then inertia works on us, too. Oh, it's what I grew up knowing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, this is what I was taught. I was taught that the sky is green. What do you mean the sky is blue? No, that's green. There you go. You know? I mean, that's basically, really, truly, the differences in society. If your little twisted family decided that it was going to raise a child thinking that the sky is green, the grass is purple, the wood is, I don't know, what's a really odd color for wood? You know, I mean,
there you go.
If some twisted family decided that they were going to raise all of their children using the words that the society around them uses, but using them improperly, when that child goes into school or sets out into society, they're going to have all of this information ingrained in them, and they are going to be trying to convince everybody around them that, no, the sky is green. Why do you say it's blue? I know very, very well it is green. Why do you say this? You are such a liar.
Good. Hey, I was raised in the 60s in the South, and showing up at school, showing kids how to talk with trees. What? Are you nuts? But I was raised with that. I was raised with the fact that trees have a consciousness. You can go back and forth on the whole soul debate all you want. It doesn't matter to me. But the trees have an awareness, and we can become aware of it, and they are aware of us. And you can do things with that. So same exact thing. Who's the kid that was taught how to talk with trees? Believe me, I was not welcomed in some circles with that one.
You're Dr. Doolittle, except with the trees instead of the animals.
Or here, let me give you one that's an example that every single person in today's economy will understand. My accounting teacher in high school taught me this one. I thought she was insane until she sat down and said, stay after school and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. And she proved it to me. Your house, it's an asset. It's what you've been taught, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, guess what? That's a consensual lie. And the reason is your house has to be considered an asset or the bank could not loan you money on it so you could buy one. So for accounting purposes, a house is considered an asset, even though in reality, for most people, their house costs them money every month. It's no different than a boat or a car in a lot of ways. Now, you can say, oh, but there's always appreciation. Well, look in the world today. We're on the down cycle. There's no appreciation, and in most people's cases, their house has lost a lot of what it was supposedly worth. So this is a consensual, what do they call it in accounting terms? Accepted accounting practice. There we go, that your house is an asset. And the only way it truly is an asset is like, say, if you're running a business out of it or something like that, where it's actually bringing more money in than you're paying out in taxes, utilities, maintenance, that kind of thing. So reality is a house isn't an asset. But the consensual accepted dogma is that your house is an asset because it's the only way you can get a mortgage on it. If your house was not an asset, banks couldn't make you a loan on it, could they? So when my accounting teacher explained that one to me, that one was a shock in my world because I had always been raised with you grow up, you go out, you buy your house, and then you've got something. And so here's my accounting teacher telling me, yeah, that's in theory sounds great, but here's the reality of it. So there you go. There's one for everybody that they can understand that today. How many people out there now are really thinking that house of theirs is an asset? So, and there's plenty of other examples of that kind of thing out there. The consensual reality that we're all willing to accept.
Yeah. And that's where it all lies.
True all the time.
That's where it all lies. We choose what each experience means to us.
Yes.
And sometimes we don't realize we're actually choosing it. Very often, we made decisions when we were tiny, tiny tots about the way the world works. And as adults, we continue to see it that way because we just had already made that decision. We already decided it forever and ever ago. Just one thing that comes immediately to my mind as far as it goes with my life, I've always loved the English language. Always, always, always. Enthralled with it. All through school. Like when my brother, who was a year ahead of me in school, was diagramming sentences, I think that was in 8th grade, so I was in 7th grade. He didn't like it. He didn't want to do it. I said, well, what are you doing? And he kind of briefly explained it. I said, can I do it? And I did all of his homework on the diagramming sentences. How crazy is that? I love English, and I love the language, and I love words. I love word games. I don't know if you've heard of what's it called? Is it Mad Lib or something like that? I can't remember.
There's Mad Lib out there.
But back like 10 years before this game came out, I was writing sentences with homonyms. Those are words that sound like other words, like I, the letter I, that means me, and I, E-Y-E, that is your eyeball. I was doing that.
Double screen for ice cream.
Yeah. I was writing sentences using all homonyms and stuff 10 years before this game came out. And the first time that I really kind of got into it and did it, I took a list of sentences to Mom and Dad's house, and I had Mom read the sentences and Dad listen, and it was so funny because Mom sounded like she had no idea how to read because in reading the sentences, they didn't make any sense to her, but Dad, who was listening, knew exactly what she was saying. And he didn't understand why she couldn't read these sentences I wrote faster. and it was, but I've been doing that for, I guess, probably about 30 years now, and for 10 years before the game came out, and so it's like, man, I really missed out on an opportunity there. But all of that comes, I now know, from a 3-year-old who was so frustrated with her inability to express in words the terms, the things, the experiences that she felt such a need to express to her family, to her mother. She told me, she decided, that was me, that 3-year-old I'm talking about, decided that she was going to know English inside out. She was never going to leave anybody not understanding the concept that she was trying to get across. She decided everybody is going to understand me. And she started my love affair with the English language. And here I am, many, many decades later, in love with the English language, loving words, working so much with words, and just really enjoying it. And like I said, I never knew where that came from until a few years back when I realized my 3-year-old, the little me when I was 3, gave me that gift. So we don't always know where it is that these things come from, but very often it was a little tiny you that gave you those things, those views, those perceptions. And, hey, as much as you can get the good from that little 3-year-old or 18-month-old or 12-month-old, you can also get a lot of other misunderstandings and deep fears and deep emotions attached to particular things. And as an adult, you may be reacting to those things just because they were brought into your energy at a young age, and you interpreted it that way. So, hey, consider that you may not have the only true, correct, real perspective on a particular thing. Consider that.
No, really? You serious? No, don't say it isn't so. Come on, I'm a legend in my own mind. I know that everything I say is perfectly correct. Really?
Perhaps you could use the wisdom of the hummingbird to stop, back up, and move sideways and look at from another perspective on some things, eh?
You know, and something you said there is critically, it's a stunning gift you just said there, and I don't know if you and I have ever talked about this. When you do run into a situation where you're not understanding a person, where you're both butting heads, whatever, spraying the deck with testosterone, is what my friends used to describe it. See what happens if you're at loggerheads. How's that for an old word for you? Where you're not communicating and you really want to communicate. See what happens if both of you take a couple steps back. Take a deep breath, let it go, and then step forward to each other. And then just reach out, and if you're with a person that'll let you do this, if you could reach out and put a hand on each other, but if not, don't worry about it. But literally, take a step back, step out of that field that you're in. Even if you have to back up and go a little bit left or right, and then step forward again, and you cause them to shift, even if you're not telling them what's going on, you have just changed their perspective and yours. And see if that can get you where you're wanting to go. It's amazing how that really can, especially if you're really trying to negotiate something you want, it's amazing how that can change perception, and a lot of times the other person doesn't even realize you've done it. But if it's a friend, tell them what's going on. Lay it out to them. And both of you do it. And just explore how that makes everything different. And now you can hear them, and they can hear you, and now you can get where you both want to be.
Sometimes
you start talking, Kat, and I start listening.
Isn't it amazing what happens in our chats together?
Yeah,
Sometimes.
and that's the thing about it. That's why we do this, isn't it? Because we're learning every time we do it. You know, I'm sure a lot of folks tune in because, we want to listen to the gurus or the masters. And sure, yeah, we've got our fields we're masters in and gurus in, and you know, for what that's worth, whoopee, truthfully. It comes down to it, you and I are here because we're humans, wanting other humans for the greater good, to be better and help them. But in the process, we're also helping ourselves, and you and I are just being really honest about it and saying, well, it may not be pretty all the time, but we're going to get to an answer. And we're going to see if it's one we like. If it's not, we're going to go on and see if there's a better answer, or maybe why we don't like that answer. And that's why you and I have so much fun.
Yeah. Well, sometimes the best answer is silence. Remember, Mama said, when you feel angry, before you yell, stop, count 10. Distance yourself a little bit from that emotional situation. Give yourself a chance to calm down. Because I can about guarantee you nearly 100% of the time, any action taken in anger is going to take you farther away from whatever it is you want.
It kept me from talking with my mom for 20 years. So, you know, how foolish was that? She, after she had passed on when I was 14, I was angry. I hated her for doing it. Just so people may not know, my mom committed suicide when I was 14. And I hated her for that. How dare she be so weak? How dare she have those problems that led her to that, you know, typical. And for 20 years, I spent 20 years looking for her. Well, she was right there the whole time. But my anger would not let her come through. I was incapable of listening where she was, is what it comes down to, as odd as that sounds. Because my anger prevented me from being able to listen on that frequency, for a good term to give people. Once I got rid of the anger about that and let it go, it's amazing how she's always been there. All the wonderful things she's taught me are still here, but I couldn't hear any of them because I was angry. So see, there you are listening again. We're back to it.
Well, I had a very good friend a few years ago talk to me about the difference between reacting and responding. He said, when you are in an emotional state, when you are feeling anger, resentment, frustration, irritation, and you do something with relation to whatever the situation was or is, you are reacting. And reacting will take you farther away from whatever it is you want. If you let that emotional state dissipate, however long it takes, if it takes 5 minutes, if it takes 10 minutes, if it takes 1 week, if it takes 2 years, when you can look at the situation and not feel that anger, frustration, irritation, whatever, then is the time to take action. Whatever action comes at that time, by tuning in and listening, you will do something that will bring you closer to whatever it is that you want then.
So I'm going to toss this one at you then, okay? Because it's one I've seen a lot of, but I want your perspective out there on this one for folks. A lot of people say, oh, but if I don't come back angry and I let it all go, I just gave up power, and now they are in charge of me, and now it looks like they're better than me or tougher or stronger than me. So if I do let it all go, then I can't really come back to them in any kind of position of power. So I'm going to throw that one to you.
Your position of power comes in not responding in anger, in not doing the reaction. Because if you are correct, if you are right, if your perspective is proper, there's no reason for you to defend it. If you are in the wrong, if you, heaven forbid, are not standing in the place where you have integrity, you have no right to be angry.
Mm-hmm. That's usually when people are the angriest, though, isn't it? They've been caught.
Mm-hmm. So there is no reason to defend. Time will show if you are right or wrong.
Excellent.
And there is the old saying, thou dost protest too much. When you feel an absolute need to really defend your position, to show all of the reasons why you are right and they are wrong,
mm-hmm.
good chance that you're blinded by your need to be right. What's more important? Is it more important to be right and to invalidate somebody, or is it more important to have peace and love? If you were to go down the road a week or two, a year or two, would whatever it is that you're defending, that you feel such a need to get your perspective out there,
mm-hmm.
is it going to matter then? If it's not going to matter in a week or two or a month or two,
mm-hmm.
why does it matter now?
Because you're angry and your ego's involved.
Ego, yeah. Quiet that ego. There's a switch word for you. Quiet. Quiet is to quiet the ego. Ego drives us, and ego gets us in wars, and ego destroys friendships and love relationships and families. Ego. There are times when the ego is good for us. It helps protect us from danger, helps us in learning and getting through challenges. But ego also has been very responsible for many wars, for many broken friendships.
But Ken, my ego, don't you know?
I like choose love. Choose love is a great switch phrase for when you're in that kind of situation where you are wondering what to do. I'm sorry. When you're in that angry spot and you don't know what to do and you are in a serious situation.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want? Do you want your love relationship to continue? Do you want this friendship to continue? Is winning this argument more important than the relationship?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll tell you what, many times you are putting the relationship on the line over. You want pizza or a sandwich tonight? Or do you want to go out or stay in? Or do you want to watch this movie or that movie? Or,
mm-hmm.
it's oftentimes very simple, stupid little things. You are putting a relationship on the line over. Come on.
Oh, come on, not the little things again, Billy.
This is pettiness.
How many times is it that the little things are far more devastating than the big things, the majors?
Yeah. So very often it's so.
Yeah.
And so choose love. Magnanimity is your switch word for letting go of the pettiness, for being generous. And I love tiny sweet. Tiny to be polite, to be kind. Sweet is to be caring. So tiny sweet. Choose love. Those are two great things for that. But hey, I tell you, just like we started off this podcast with, listen. You find yourself always getting angry, always in some kind of a negative state, or frequently getting into a negative state.
Mm-hmm.
Listen.
Mm-hmm.
There is something you're focused on that you don't want to be focused on.
Mm-hmm.
And this is trying to tell you, listen, listen, listen. So is there anything else that you wanted to talk about today, Dane? We're getting a little bit long on the talkcast today. It's amazing how fast the time flies, isn't it?
Yeah, really, when you're having all this fun, it's the way it is. But fun is great. We, let's see, next week I definitely will be sounding different, I expect, because, what has he said? I'll be wearing a face cast. So getting my nose overhauled tomorrow. And it's amazing. Out of all the years and the scraps and the fighting I did, and my nose has been, face has been broken 3 times. And would you believe none of those 3 times had anything to do with the fight? It was all accidents. So getting a nice, cute, straight nose tomorrow. Yay. And I'm actually going to put a video up on YouTube about why I am getting the nose rebuilt now and how it happened. And it has to do with my loving wife, Carrie, of all things.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be putting that up, and, just for laughs, everybody can have a good kick out of that. And let's see, anything else? Well, we'll have something interesting I'm sure we'll come up with next week.
Okay. There is one thing that I do want to tell you, and that is you have the VBSE Together program, and in the vibrational balancing section, you will find a combination for before surgery, and you will find a combination for after surgery. Use those combinations. You can charge yourself or you can charge water. Just use them to make things go smooth and easy through that time. We did those things when we had our Jane Doe in the hospital. Whenever they were going to do any kind of procedure or anything, we did that. We used those.
Right.
So take that, use that, and I'll tell you, the vibrational balancing image 78, tired feet, is awesome to use any time that you are just recovering from an illness, that you are tired at the end of the day, things of your day has just drained you. Powerful, fun stuff working with the vibrational balancing images and such. And for anybody else here who is listening or wants to know more about that, you will find information about the vibrational balancing program, the vibrational balancing images at blueiris.org. Just look on the top menu, you'll see the healing card, and the vibrational balancing is there, and there's also information about the VBSE Together program, which is actually a computer program that will run the stuff for you. But as far as it goes, the images are available for free. You can work with them all you want. You can download them. You can put them on PDF. You can do charge water with the paper images and such, all you want for free. There's no charge for anything like that. The VBSE Together is just a computer program that really makes it so much faster and easier and smoother to work with the images. So it's been a total joy talking with you today, Dane. It always is. And I trust that anyone who's listening now or listens later will get some good information out of what we've been doing here. And I will get the summary put together for this podcast and include any of the videos, the video that you're talking about making, I'll later attach to this, and I'll get the other video that we talked about last week attached to this one, next one.
Well, I figure I have to make a video of me with a face cast on talking about how I ended up having to get my nose rebuilt. It just makes sense.
Yeah, it's fun.
I hope that won't be too punchy on this. but we'll see how it goes.
Okay. Well, you have a great week, and give me a holler. Let me know if you have any issues or anything going on. I'll be there for you. Okay, bud?
Sounds good, darling. Appreciate it, as always.
All right. Talk to you next week.
Okay. Have a great week, everybody. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.